Do we have a motion to come out of closed session?
Whereas the Franklin City School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas Section 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Franklin City School Board hereby certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, one, that only public business matters lawfully exempted by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification applies, and two, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered.
Thank you, Amy. Do we have a second?
A second.
Have a second from Ms. Jester. Any discussion? All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. I believe we have a personnel motion as a result of our closed session.
Chairman Holt, I make a motion that we approve the amended personnel agenda, amended and adding on item number 11 as presented.
We have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the amended personnel agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That motion carries. Could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I'd like to introduce to you our 2017 prom queen, Miss Denasia Flight. She's a member of the class of 2017, and she's going to represent Franklin High School and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I graduated June the 16th, and after I graduate, I plan to go to the Army and attend Virginia Union. Now, can y'all please stand with me and say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call. Ms. Kindred.
Yes. Amy Phillips,
Present?
Ron Rusnak.
Present.
Robert Holt,
Present.
Rebecca Jester,
Present.
Jessica Grant,
Present.
Marshall Williams.
Present.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda as set forth.
Second.
A second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve our agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Organizational plan. I'll give you a moment to review that. And we have some vacant positions. And I'd like to hear from the board as to whether you feel like we should fill those positions or not. Looks like the first vacancy is alternate to CSEP Joint Board. Should we fill it or not?
Is there any requirement that we have an alternate set up for that?
No. let's consider not filling that position. Representative to the School of Practical Nursing Joint Committee Board. Mr. Edwards, do you know what that entails?
The Nursing Joint Committee, where's Ms. Conaway? Ms. Conaway, would that be the one where we discuss about the qualifications for the nursing boards? Yes, Gail, the Vacant Nursing Joint Committee Board. Help me with that one, Gail.
That is a board that was over the partnership that we held with the hospital. Am I right, Kelly? With the hospital, it was Franklin City Public Schools and Southampton Public Schools. And that has dissolved as of January 1st. And there is no longer a partnership. So we are not a part of that anymore. So I guess that means we could take that off, yeah.
Okay. Alternate to the School of Practical Nursing.
Thank you, Ms. White.
Okay, scratch that then.
That would be the same.
That would be the same, so I would say that would go.
Page 2, alternate to Governor's School for the Arts Joint Board.
Now, I'm not sure on the Governor's School for the Arts, but the position for Appomattox Regional Governor's School, does that representative actually sit on their board?
I don't know.
Yes.
That's what I thought. How about the Governor's School for the Arts? Does that one sit on that board?
Yes.
Okay, so we do need to fill those.
I would think.
But the alternate can be something.
Right.
I'm sorry, Doctor, what was, the alternate can be what?
The alternate is a position that the board can decide whether they want to fill it, because the alternate would be the person, let's say if, for example, you see
Dr. Hall Leonard.
to the Governor's School of the Arts, Dr. Hall Leonard has filled that
Right.
vacancy. So if she was unable to attend, then one of the board members who said I would be the alternate would say that they would attend. But both would not have to attend together.
I think we should fill the Appomattox as a rep, but not the alternate. Any discussion on that? Anybody would like to be the Appomattox Regional Governor's School rep?
I think we've discussed that once before, and I may have a conflict with that.
Okay. For now, let's delete that one. Same with the alternate. Student Discipline Committee, alternate. How often does that meet, Mr. Edwards?
It would only meet in the case that we had a discipline hearing. Gail?
It would only meet in case we had a discipline that had been appealed to the superintendent and then appealed to the school board. The discipline committee would hear it on behalf of the school board, and it's made up of 3 members.
Okay, thank you. For now, let's delete that one.
The alternate for that?
No, let's assign an alternate. Anybody volunteer to be an alternate?
I volunteer to be an alternate.
Thank you.
Chairman Holt, I'll fill the vacant position on the Personnel and Finance Committee.
Okay. Gifted Advisory. How often does that committee meet?
Oh, 3 times a year, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. I'll volunteer for that one. Bright Starts Advisory. I'd like to see us put someone on that.
I'll volunteer for that.
Okay. On page 2, School Board Representative to Buildings and Grounds Committee.
I'll volunteer.
Mr. Rusnak.
Chairman Holt,
Yes.
I would like to fill the vacancy for school board representative to the pupil personnel committee on
On-
page 2 also.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, looks like we're going to delete the alternate to CSEP, the School of Practical Nursing Joint Committee, the alternate to the School of Practical Nursing, the alternate to the Governor's School of the Arts. We do need a representative for the Appomattox Regional Governor's School. I'll volunteer for that. We can eliminate the alternate to that school, I think.
Chairman Holt, I will volunteer for the school board representative to the Building and Grounds Committee along with Mr. Rusnak.
Okay. I think that covers everything, unless the board sees something I missed. Is there a motion to approve the organizational plan of the school board as amended?
I move that we approve the organizational plan of the school board as amended.
Thank you. Second?
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No? Motion carries. Thank you. Citizens' time. Ms. Kindred, anyone sign up?
Yes, sir, we do. We have Mrs. Josette Stolhaze.
Good evening, Chairman Holt, school board members, Ms. Sterling. She's not here today? I thought she was with us. She's not with us? Okay. And Mr. Edwards. Sorry about that. My name is Josette Stolhaze. I live at 354 North College Drive here in Franklin. As some of you know, I have stood in front of this board several times during the past 6 years as a parent, a community member, and a PTA president with SB Morton. Well, it is time for me to step down. My family and I are moving. It is all good, but we are leaving the area. So I wanted to share with you some things tonight. As you may know, SP Morton is the only school in the district that currently has a PTA. The PTA is the nation's largest volunteer group. This group is made up of over 4 million parents, community members, and educators throughout the United States. SP Morton's PTA mission statement is to make every child's potential a reality, continuing by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for all children, not just your own, but for all children. Now, with this said, I need to share with you some recent discoveries. Currently, the PTA board at SP Morton was not sure if there was going to be a long-standing tradition of a PTA continuing at SP Morton. However, due to some very dedicated individuals, I am pleased to announce there will be a PTA at SP Morton for the 2017-18 school year. So tonight, I wanted to introduce them to you so that you can begin building strong working relationships with them and helping them carry on an outstanding tradition with SP Morton's PTA. I have with us tonight, some were not able to join us, but I will give you their names. Our new president is Ms. Tyler Chestnut. Ms. Chestnut, would you please stand? The VP of Hospitality is Mrs. Gina Brown, returning for her 3rd year. Our VP of Membership will be our very own Ms. Pat Rideout from SP Morton. Our staff liaison is Mrs. Paige Drury, returning for her 4th year. Our treasurer was not able to be here, but I wanted to share something with you. She's not returning as a parent of FCPS. She's returning as a community member. Her youngest child will be graduating from 5th grade. She feels strongly that the PTA needs to continue on. She's going to be serving her 8th year as treasurer, and that is Mrs. Catherine Connor. However, the secretary position is still available, so it's open to anybody. They'll take notes. That's good. Okay. Now, continuing on with some great news, I wanted to share with you some of the exciting things that the PTA board has done recently. We have celebrated our librarians. We've celebrated our PTA 2016-17 volunteers, the administrative assistants, the principals, our school nurse, and of course our teachers during PTA Teacher Appreciation Week. At that time, each teacher was showered with gifts daily, whether they were hand-delivered to them or put in their mailboxes. We have recognized our very own Teacher of the Year as of this week and presented her with a gift at Tuesday night's PTA business meeting. For the last 4 years, the PTA has partnered up with Joyce Carter and the Book Buddies and Book Mice program during the Scholastic Book Fairs that we hold each year. And I'm happy to say that because of that partnership, the PTA has actually recently made a couple different donations totaling $600 to that program. We cannot do these things if there's not a PTA, if there's not a group of parents that are completely devoted to making sure that the students, the teachers, and the parents are still receiving everything that possibly can. We understand budgets, we understand cutbacks, but we represent them and we want them to know that we've always got their back, always. As of this morning, we've sold all of our 2016-17 yearbooks that were ordered. Our final Dairy Queen night is actually scheduled for Thursday, June the 1st. That's from 5:30 to 8. I know you all are extremely busy, but you can even come through the drive-thru, okay? As we continue now to get ready for Field Day, we all, for the last few years, have helped out Coach Denny in finalizing volunteers and donations so that that event can go smoothly and very successful and fun for all of our staff members and the students. I want to thank you all for your time. Please know that I believe you all are going to be making the right decisions for our students, for our educators, for our staff members, and for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Josette, and believe me, we all know what good work you folks do. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to echo and to Mr. O'Hays and the team at SP Morton that the PTA at SP Morton works diligently and very hard for all students at SP Morton. And I've witnessed it, I've seen it, And same thing is witnessed, but I got to say it twice. They do an excellent job, and we thank you for your dedication, your hard work, and commitment at SP Morton all these years. And thank you so much. Mr.
And Ms. Stoles Hayes, you forgot to comment on yourself. How many years have you done this now? 6 years, and you have worked tirelessly. Thank you.
I think we saw a good example of the passion that she has for that work. So again, thank you all. Our consent agenda, we have 3 sets of minutes to review. So I will give you a moment. April 6th, April 13th, and May 4th. Let's take them individually. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of our April 6th meeting?
Chairman Holt, I make a motion that we approve the minutes of our April 6, 2017 meeting as presented.
Second?
I second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Do we have a motion for April 13th?
Chairman Holt, I make a motion that we approve the minutes of our April 13th, 2017 meeting as presented as well.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That motion carries. And our May 4th meeting.
Chairman Holt, I make a motion that we approve our minutes from our May 14th, 2017 meeting as presented.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Did you say 14?
May 4th, excuse me. May 4th, 2017.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve the minutes for May 4th signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Superintendent's report, Mr. Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'd like to call Ms. Wade forward, so we have our good news portion. Thank you.
Chairman Holt, board members, Mr. Edwards, and Franklin community, it is my pleasure tonight. I'll begin with our best teacher attendance, and this would be for the month of April 2017. At this time, I'd like to call Dr. Cherie Davis forward. Congratulations, Dr. Davis. Next, our best student attendance for the month of April 2017. J.P. King, Miss Lisa Francis, please come forward. Congratulations, Miss Francis. Thank you. Next, our Blue Ribbon Clean School Award for the month of April. This month, it goes to SP Morton Elementary School. want to recognize them, Ms. Cassandra Clark, of course, head custodian, Mr. Jimmy Reed, Octavius Kindred, Lakeisha Langley, Ms. Joanne Whitehead, and Ms. Brenda Lawrence. Okay, did I leave anybody out? Okay, all right. Congratulations to all of you. Ms. Clark, I'll let you take that for the team. How's that? Next, I'm very, very excited tonight and honored to announce our Teachers of the Year from each school and to also recognize the Teacher of the Year for Franklin City Public Schools for this school year, 2017, for our division. We began this process back a couple of months ago. Each school chose candidates. They did a vote at the school. They nominated, informed me of their nominee for Teacher of the Year. We went through the interview process with a team that was represented several members of our community, and a division-wide Teacher of the Year was chosen. But first, I'd like to call each Teacher of the Year from all of our schools forward, and I'll begin with S.P. Morton Elementary, Miss Tanithia Nicole Cooper, third grade teacher. Thank you. Next, Miss Marilyn Freeman, sixth grade math teacher, representing J.P. King Middle School. And representing Franklin High School, Miss Teresa Rollins, an exceptional education teacher. Miss Rollins. As I told all these ladies, and I've said many, many times before, there is no greater honor than to be recognized by your own peers as being the best of the best. And each one of you, in each one of your individual schools, you do truly represent and exemplify the best of the best. And we're very, very proud and honored to have you as a part of our Franklin City Public Schools family. At this time, even though it was a really, really tough decision between these three ladies, these best of the best teachers, we had to choose one. We had to choose one to name as our Division Teacher of the Year. I'm very, very excited to announce that Miss Marilyn Freeman has been chosen as our Division Teacher of the Year. That's it. Ms. Freeman, would you like to say something? Absolutely.
Good evening to you all. First of all, this is a great honor, and I am very grateful for the people that I work with, because indeed they are my family. And every day I go to work, they make me feel like family. And so it just is not just an award for me, but for my family at J.P. King. And I love my principal, Lisa Francis, and my assistant principal, Darren Parker, because they are a tremendous team to work with and work for. And I thank Franklin City Public Schools for this honor. Thank you very much.
I'm also pleased to announce that one of our students from J.P. King Middle School was recognized at the regional VSBA conference that was held this spring. There was an art contest, and he was recognized. I don't believe that he's here. He is not here, but Mr. Edwards has his artwork. He received 3rd place in his in the middle school category, grades 6 through 8, and we're very, very proud of him. So we will send his certificate back by Ms. Francis. Mr. Levon Powell. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Wallace Johnson from J.P. King Middle School, who will come forward and present some awards.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be here because you see JPK, we're just rocking the house tonight. Just like we used to do. So we had a tremendous year in our sports program. We had an undefeated basketball team and an undefeated track and field team, which went 17-0. Since I was not at school this week because my wife had an operation, and usually the kids follow me, but only one followed me tonight. But anyway, I would recognize those kids in absentia. For my basketball players who were undefeated, they were all good. Montrez Battle, Kenaz Jones, and Jamaje Bynum. My track and field team, my 4x1, girls and boys, last 2 years, they haven't lost a relay. My 100, 200, 800, 1600, we had a tremendous year, long jump. We did not lose. As a team, we beat teams from Richmond right down to Carolina. So we had a very tremendous year, going 17-0 in meet competition. So it was really good. And some of them I will announce: Darius Ely, LaShawn Nichols Power, save her for last, Richard Meads, Caitlin Lawson, Anari Gordon, Kendall Ely. These are just some. All of them were outstanding. DeCoriel Bryant and Selena Finner. And the last young lady, the smallest young lady in the conference, I only think she's lost one race in the last 2 years. She anchors the 4x1, wins the 100, 200. Jay, you lose a race this year? No, she didn't lose a race this year. She did not lose a race this year. But the coaches always rave about her because when she goes up against the Giants, the big girls always look down on her, but they only watch her behind as she finished across the finish line. It was my privilege to coach her this year. That's Jayla Green. And I also like to thank Mr. Parker, Ms. Francis, this way, please. Okay, thank you. And also Ms. Carolyn Lawrence and all the faculty and staff that supported the program. I don't know if I would do it again because many of you know my wife has been very ill. I know she had a heart operation this week, but she's fine. She's fine, good spirits. So I'm back here tonight because I want to recognize the wonderful kids of Franklin City Schools.
So much good news tonight with coaches and teachers and students. It's just overwhelming to see. Thank you.
Again, thank you to everyone and to our Teachers of the Year from your respective schools. Congratulations. And also congratulations to our Division Teacher of the Year, Ms. Freeman. Thank you. At this time, we have our Student Liaison report. Thank you.
Starting with SP Morton. SP Morton had Dairy Queen Night on May 4th. SP Morton started SOL testing on May 9th. They had preschool screening on May 10th and 11th. There was an Avid Night with JP King and FHS on May 11th. SP Morton also celebrated Teacher Appreciation Week on May 8th through the 12th. There was a PTA meeting on May 16th. With JP King is in full swing with SOLs right now. Students are preparing by attending after-school tutoring and Saturday Academy. JP King had an Avid Night on May 11th. JP King also had their last Parents as Partners to discuss activities happening in the summer. JP King also celebrated their teachers, nurse, and staff for their Teacher Appreciation Week. FHS. Spring SOL retakes are done at FHS. Students are now attending after-school tutoring and Saturday Academy in preparation for testing. SOLs for the second semester begins on May 25th. Cap and gowns were delivered to FHS and seniors received them on May 10th. Currently, the senior class is preparing for Senior Week, which will consist of painting ceiling tiles, the senior trip, senior breakfast, the senior cookout, graduation practice, and actual graduation. Prom was a huge success this year. It was on May 13th at Cypress Cove Country Club. The second semester science fair was last night. All students in the second semester science classes participated. The spring theater production is a murder mystery this year and will be held in the FHS auditorium June 1st through the 3rd. On June 1st, we will have an Evening of the Arts, which will consist of the arts, culinary, band, and building trades programming, showcasing our students' work. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that outstanding report. We appreciate all you're doing. At this time, we now have our instructional update, and we'll begin with Ms. Conaway, followed by our partners with Catapult. Ms. Burkholdt.
Good evening, Mr. Holt, school board members, Mr. Edwards. Tonight, I would like to give you an instructional update of our schools. Each school is SOL testing, and the high school, in addition to SOL testing, they're doing industry credentialing for career and technical education. The elementary schools started Wave 1 testing last week, and the middle school started this week with Wave 1 testing. The high school, they continues to administer expedited retakes and industry tests and prepare for first-time second semester SOL testing and industry testing. The three schools are conducting test preparation and review sessions during school, after school, and on Saturdays for Saturday school. Franklin City Public School will continue to be in SOL testing and industry testing mode until the last week of school. At the June school board meeting, the instructional team will bring you unofficial test data. As we finalize the 2016-17 school year, we're also looking ahead to prepare for summer school for 2017 and the 2017-18 academic year. The school-based and central office teams are working on the details to complete our Franklin City Public Schools summer school plan, and the 2017-18 course offering guide for Franklin High School is complete, and we'll present it to you tonight for approval. Master schedules are being revised for the upcoming school year, and professional learning needs are being assessed across the division. So those are just some of the things that we're doing for this year and looking ahead to plan for our 2017-18 school year. At this time, I would like to ask Counterpart Learning if they will come forward to present their dashboard for SP Morton Elementary School.
Good evening, Mr. Holt, Mr. Edwards, school board members. Mrs. Gurley, the Director of Achievement for Mathematics, is not feeling well this evening, so you just have me. All right, so I'll give you a snapshot of our overview for the month of April. I'm on page 2, under the essential learning goals. We continued collaborating with the reading specialist and math coach to support all grade level teachers with lesson plannings to provide them with resources to ensure alignment of the curriculum to be taught and tested, along with resources. We also continued with our observations for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade classes, in addition to specific K through 2 classrooms with and without administration, the reading specialist, and math coach. When we did observations without the administrative team, we still debriefed with them afterwards to ensure alignment of our feedback and resources were still aligned when we all went back to follow up for observations. I facilitated a PLC on student engagement strategies for all grade levels based off of feedback that teachers provided during PLCs for lack of student motivation and or disruptive demonstrations during instructional time, to provide teachers with additional tools and resources that they could implement to maximize instructional time for bell-to-bell teaching. I also facilitated a PLC, which was part 2 on increasing student cognition after school on April 3rd for all teachers, pre-K through 5th grade. In addition to the administrative team, the teachers were led through several activities to create higher order thinking, questions that were aligned to the standards that they teach, and they utilized the rigor and relevance framework to ensure that the student cognition was aligned with the standards. On page 4, under instructional delivery, do we have any questions so far? Great. Okay. On page 4, under instructional delivery, we continue conducting follow-up walkthrough observations to check for effective use of agreed-upon strategies from lesson plannings and or post-observation feedbacks to ensure that the teachers were implementing them effectively, and if they were not implementing them effectively or they did not feel comfortable, they received one-to-one modeling based off of individual teacher support. On page 6, under assessments, the Director of Achievement for Mathematics facilitated data room board updates utilizing the 3rd benchmark assessments to help teachers desegregate their data, create action steps, and utilizing that data to drive instruction, remediation interventions, and create an initial list of wave testing for the SOLs. And then on page 8, under learning supports, we had our SOL campout night, so we finalized that working with the reading specialists, math coaches, and administrative team members to finalize that and ensure that all teachers had activities and resources to utilize that night. And lastly, we continued our collaboration with the math coach and reading specialist to ensure that we were collaborating to create a list of trainings and or resources to ensure alignment of the curriculum to be taught and tested for all grade level teachers. And that's an overview of our snapshot for April. Any questions? Thank you for your continued support. Have a good evening.
Well, that concludes the instructional update. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you to our instructional team for those important updates. At this time, we will review the professional development law. Next, we have our principals monthly report. J.P. King. And Franklin High School. And our last item on the superintendent's report is our memorandum of understanding updates. Thank you. Mr. Holman?
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. We have no unfinished business, new business, first reading, final approval of the 2017-18 Franklin High School Course Offering Guide. Mr. Phelps.
Good evening, Chairman Holt, Mr. Edwards, and board members. I believe you have the Franklin High School 2017-18 proposed course offering guide. Are there any questions? We do have, do they have the colored copy, Miss? Okay. Okay. Right.
Very comprehensive. Looks like you covered every base.
Ms. Conaway and I and other team members did it together. Yes, sir. And we have actually a copy that shows any updates and changes, but what you have is what we're hoping that you'll approve tonight. Do you want to go through page numbers?
No.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
I think in the guide that you have on page 7, if you will look at the bottom, that's a change. It talks about the students entering 9th grade for the 2016-17 and beyond school year. They're going to need training in emergency first aid, CPR, and the use of an AED. So that's a change that's required by the Virginia Department of Education. The next page should. And we also removed algebra readiness and geometry readiness, so the students will take Algebra 1 and geometry as opposed to a readiness course. I think it's 50, maybe. It could possibly be 51 though, because my guide is a little different from theirs. Keep going. Is there a mouse to this? This mouse works for this? Okay. All right.
I'm almost to 50.
Okay. All right, add a 3. Come back. It's 49. There's the new course, Avid 3, that we're asking you to approve on page 49. On page 55. Back up. Yeah, keep going. Right there. We're bringing business back to Franklin High School. And we're also teaching economics and personal finance in the business program, where we can offer children industry credentials, which is a state requirement. And those are the major changes in the guide. The others have been carried on from year to year.
Any questions from the board? Is there a motion for final approval of the course offering guide?
I make a motion we approve the course offering guide as presented.
Second?
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Property liability and workers' comp. Mr. Edwards.
Gail, do we? Mr. Chairman, this item, we would like to go ahead and remove this item until we can get further clarity once Ms. Minor comes back.
Okay,
So I request of the board that we remove 6.2.
all right. Is there a motion to table item 6.2?
I make a motion to table item 6.2.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Technical amendments.
The technical amendments that you see are the amendments that were to the proposed budget, as you see. And in our budget, we are looking at how we can best meet the needs of the school division, as always, and through the technical changes that you see and other changes that are listed in this itemized format, we are looking at the possibility of coming forth with these technical changes and the changes that you see, and I will pause so that everyone can see these changes. And if there are any further questions as we move, then, I will definitely entertain those questions. And with the technical changes and other changes that you see, we have been working diligently to try to get to a place where we could get to that 350,000. However, we are experiencing a lot of attrition within the Franklin City Public Schools. And unfortunately, that trend is currently continuing to occur for us, where we're losing our personnel. So with this budget, we, in dialogue and talking with the board, we're seeking that we don't ask for 350,000, but we would look at needing additional help so that we can maintain our quality people and not lose personnel, and baseline asking for additional assistance in the amount of about 100 to 150,000. And that is my topic with the board this afternoon. And that would help us keep our focus to the board on, for instance, the state is giving us a raise, but that raise would not take place until February. Asking for the additional assistance, we could lend a hand to our teachers because we know their insurance definitely went up in the amount that we could sustain and help them by offering the raise, if received, beginning in September.
Mr. Edwards reported to the board that, correctly, the state is giving money for raises effective February 1, but our regional school divisions are making that effective September 1.
Yes, some of them, yes, sir.
So the request is for 100 to 150,000, which would allow us to give our teachers a raise September 1st, correct?
Yes, sir.
We had to make up 350,000 from the increase of health insurance and also a state mandate increase in retirement funding. Any questions for Mr. Edwards? Do we have a motion to present this budget to our city council when we meet with them jointly on Monday?
motion to present the budget on Monday to the city council.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Questions, comments?
I have one question.
Okay.
Will we be presenting this technical amended budget or one that goes back and
One-
adds back another 150?
One that goes back and,
To add 150.
that is correct.
So should the motion reflect that?
We can amend the motion. Would you amend it, Mr. Rusnak?
I would, I make a motion we present this budget with the additional request for $100 to $150,000 to increase the, increases for teachers effective September.
Second.
I second.
Any further discussion?
And to the board, we will get that done tomorrow and present it to you all and have it ready for all on Monday as well.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That motion carries. Thank you. Important dates to remember, we mentioned Monday evening coming up at 6 p.m. here in the City Council chambers. That's a budget meeting with City Council. Our next work session is on June the 1st at 6 p.m. in our conference room. Any other business by school board members? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion that we adjourn our meeting for the evening.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. We're adjourned. Thank you all for coming.